civil rights attorney Nancy Erica Smith and Tara Palmieri, a veteran journalist who writes the Red Letter on Substack and has covered this story extensively. Nancy, I walked through how we got here because it matters so much to understand both the secrecy and this witness. Your view of what we learned today.
Well, my view is it took a lot of enablers to allow Jeffrey Epstein to conduct a child sexual abuse ring for decades. And many of those enablers probably have in their mind that Donald Trump gives out pardons to people who may need them, or who will protect him, or who will pay him, of course, but who will protect him. She had a non-prosecution agreement in 2008 to say that she didn't know anything all this time after he was convicted is just not believable. Setting up massages 3 times a day, knowing that there's a cleaner, a janitor, who testified that they sanitize the massage rooms 3 times a day. I mean, even Howard Lutnick says that the townhouse was creepy and he didn't want to go back because of the massage rooms.
And if she may have known and the FBI was concerned that she and others crossed over into criminal conduct,
yep,
why were none of them held accountable? How do you view sort of her history there?
Well, women don't matter and children don't matter when you're comparing them to powerful, rich men. It's just this history of the whole world that we don't matter the way powerful, connected, rich men matter. So he got a pass from the start. Alex Acosta got to be Trump's first labor secretary by giving Epstein, who everybody has to admit was a close friend of Trump for quite a few years. So everybody got rewarded. And now Todd Blanche, who defended Trump in the E. Jean Carroll case, is nominated to be the Attorney General after giving a sweetheart deal to a convicted child sexual predator. She's in club-fed prison with a dog, apparently. I mean, so if I wanted a pardon, if I participated, if I enabled this kind of child sexual abuse ring, I would say I didn't know anything. I would lie, because if you get indicted, you are hoping that by covering up for Trump and his friends and the other powerful people that you're going to get a pardon. And
then briefly, because I want to bring in Tara, is your view that the FBI or any solid investigator should have known better but had other reasons not to?
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Tara, your view on all this?
You know, it's interesting that Leslie was called this week because there is a prosecution memo that U.S. Attorney Jeff Berman put together in 2019, shortly after he arrested Jeffrey Epstein. And it was about potential co-conspirators. And again, Leslie Groff is named as one. And it shows that the FBI actually interviewed her lawyer. So again, she knew that she was a target in this case. She was unwilling to give any information. And, I looked through some of the files that Jane Doe's filed, and one of them, Jane Doe 45, said that she booked their travel, she handled visas, accommodation, and, quote, rules of behavior. I mean, how could a woman who worked for him from 2001 to 2019, who was in her 30s and 40s, not know what was going on? Jennifer Rose, another victim of Jeffrey Epstein, also remembered Groff said she was critical in facilitating Epstein's abuse, not to mention the fact that when the FBI, the local Palm Beach police, when they raided his home in 2006, there were so many pictures of underage girls on the walls and everywhere else. And there's so many witness accounts of young girls walking around naked from people who worked there that it's undeniable what was going on. I'm just angry that she is another person who is a potential co-conspirator who is able to speak to Congress not under oath in this interview setting. I mean, these people need to be held to account. The other thing I want to mention, too, is that when I looked at this memo, this 86-page memo that Jeff Berman put together, the names of powerful men are mentioned that girls accused of sexual abuse, including Leon Black, Jess Staley, Prince Andrew, and Harvey Weinstein. They are named as sexual abusers in this memo. But instead, the prosecutors are only focused on the women who facilitated the abuse. It's all about the women. And it shows you, again, what Nancy mentioned. they're not interested in pursuing these men. In fact, every time a woman brought up it undersworn testimony, what her experience was with this man, they named it matter-of-factly, but had no interest in following up.
Yeah.
They didn't even interview them.
Well, I have you because you've covered this a lot. What do you think of the point that perhaps only under pressure and being dragged there, but unlike other issues, there was at least finally this bipartisan push to take this step long overdue? Do you see that as a difference from years ago on the Hill, or what do you think's happening there?
I just think that interviewing Leslie Groff, you're not getting to the heart of the matter. You need to be interviewing the men. You need to get Leon Black up there. You need to get Jeff Staley up there. I mean, I know Bill Gates is coming this week. This is it just feels like it's a political show. And yes, Leslie knows some things, but you're never going to get anything out of her unless it's under oath. And even then, it's behind closed doors. Why can't we watch this? Right. Why is this not being televised? This is the biggest scandal of our time.
And to your point, they were rushing to get the Hillary Clinton video out,
Yeah.
And again, as mentioned, you've been on this. Nancy, on the legal side, again, I said I would quote her account.
Yes.
She says, after Mr. Epstein's conviction, I learned the government and his lawyers included me in the non-prosecution agreement as a potential conspirator. She says today, quote, I am not a conspirator and I never would have agreed to this language. Their decision to label me as a potential conspirator remains my scarlet letter.
Oh, good. Then she should disavow the non-prosecution agreement and put herself out there to testify under oath in public and be confronted, literally confronted with some of the evidence you've shown today. If she wants to disavow the non-prosecution agreement and say, oh, I didn't know, I wouldn't have agreed not to be prosecuted. She literally says that. Good. Let's prosecute her.
Yeah, so you don't buy it.
I don't buy it one bit. And the reason we're here, to answer your question earlier, is because Trump and MAGA talked about a big Democratic pedophile ring. And a lot of Republicans ate it up. And so they're stuck with it now that this is what they told people they were concerned about. Oh, my God, sex abuse of children in a pizza place in Washington. They drummed this up, and now they want to walk away. And people like Massey, who believed it and cared about it, are the victims.